The Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our host are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of Raymond James. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. And now, here are your hosts. Dan Sipe serves as a branch manager for Raymond James Financial Services and Serving Those Who Serve, and Katelyn Murray is a financial advisor through Raymond James Financial Services and Director of Advisory Services here at Serving Those Who Serve.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fed15 podcast presented by Serving Those Who Serve. Each week, we discuss the latest news and info the Feds need to know in 15 minutes-ish or less. So whether you're a seasoned federal employee or just starting out in your career, Fed15 has you covered. So grab your coffee, energy drink, green juice, whatever, kick back, and we will tell you whatever you need to know but might have missed. We are your host. I'm Dan Sipe, and I am joined by the exceptional, exuberant, and ebullient Katelyn Murray.
Exuberant. Love it. Love it. Love it. You know, I love the alliteration there, Dan.
Yes. I think next time I introduce, I'll try and go to F's and then G's and then H's. We'll see how long we can string this out.
Oh, yeah. Good challenge. Hey, I think we could probably string it out pretty far with your vocabulary.
Oh, thesaurus Rex.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Dan has an exceptional vocabulary. He's a man of many words. And that, I think, is important. I think it's good to have the right word for the right occasion. I think it's easy to get that vocab shrink once we're all not reading classics and English lit anymore.
Indeed. And the word for the occasion today is signed.
Yes,
yeah.
Sign.
Talk about it.
It's a big word. So we're very excited. I can officially make the announcement. My brother, for those of you who listen to the show regularly, he has all of the athletic prowess that I was not gifted with. So I attribute all of that to my stepmother. But he has officially signed with Mercer University to play on their offensive line. We're very blessed that he received a full ride to Mercer, and Mercer is a D1 school, which it has been a crazy ride to get here. There was a lot of kind of redirection. There were a lot, he was blessed. There were a lot of different offers, and Mercer sort of came out of the woodworks at the last minute. And so we're very blessed. He's very excited. We had the signing this past week, and nice. There's quite a few years between us. So it's very, I was the parent screaming from the back, my baby.
Nice.
Because it's crazy how those little things grow from a bean that you can hold in your hand to big old monstrous O-line players.
Yeah. Yeah. And now the next word, I'm sorry, because this is who I am. It's got to be fitty.
Fitty. Yeah. Fitty.
Got to get that fitty before he graduates.
Yeah. He's working on it. He's right
there.
Sure.
He's right there.
Reaching for it.
Yep.
So we shall see. But yeah, it was very, very good time. I have to say his department, he goes to Liberty, and they have offered a ton of support for him as far as recruiting goes. Really great football program, and they've been really supportive. So
nice.
He's benefited from that a lot.
Well, congrats to Clan Murray.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Although, man, he's in Macon, right? So that's going to be brutal August practice.
Yes. Well, they're calling him up, and I think they're calling them a little early because the season starts a little early this year just because of how things fell. So I think he will start practice in July in Macon. So, and he is as hot-natured as I am. So
lots of Gatorade.
Definitely need to hydrate. So very cool. Well, we have some exciting, I know that the listeners will be very excited for today's episode because we have for you possibly a pay raise update. But before we get there, we always like to save that treat for the end. Dan's going to talk to us a little bit about what that's looking like. Before we get there, I did want to recap the numbers for TSP for January, your TSP performance figures. So obviously, we saw a very, very strong rally at the end of 2023, the end of the year there. We saw some really strong numbers for December. January was a bit of a cooling off month for us. And that is, as far as market cycles go, fairly normal. If you think about it, I've been saying this with clients all month, but if you think about it, in December and November, a lot of us were spending more time going out. We were going out for holiday parties. We were going out for dinner get-togethers. We were spending a lot of money that in some cases we didn't have on gifts for people, all related to the holidays. So there was a lot more economic participation by and large in December. And in January, we all get those New Year's resolutions in place. We all get our, year-end figures and, start looking at the accounts, and we button up a little bit. And that is kind of a natural cycle that is part of the market.
Sure.
And on top of that, we do have some uncertainty around interest rate cuts from the Fed. Obviously, that kind of impacts economic activity and the cost of borrowing money as well. We're really kind of in a period of, this balancing act. We're trying to bring down inflation without causing a recession. So I don't necessarily think that January's numbers being somewhat lackluster bodes poorly for all of 2024. I do kind of see it more as kind of a natural cycle of what's going on in the market. So with that, let's get into these figures. So we won't look at year-to-date numbers because January is the first month of the year. So the monthly return is going to be the same as the year-to-date return this year.
Right.
Looking at C Fund had a return of 1.68% for the month of January. It was positive, along with G Fund, a positive return of 0.34%. So those were our two TSP funds that were in the green this month. S, I, and F, all three of those funds kind of struggled a bit this month. S had a return of negative 2.41%. F Fund, a return of negative 0.19%. And I Fund, right in that same kind of vein, negative return of negative 0.22%. So, a little cooling off, a little kind of flounder here in January, but overall, part of the normal market cycle. This does not mean you should transfer all of your TSP to C Fund or G Fund. A diversified portfolio is the way forward. If you need help with that, I know some people that you can talk to. You can check us out, ask STWS at stwserve.com for that, or catch one of our TSP webinars later this month.
Absolutely. And Katelyn, as you know, we're about all things Fed.
Okay.
So as an outreach of that, we really like people who are like-minded about that.
Right.
So yeah, I've got a little news on what possibly might happen. So Feds have a real champion in Gerry Connolly, congressman from Virginia. Every year he introduces the FAIR Act, Federal Adjustment of Income Rates, to make sure that the Feds are moving forward, keeping up with inflation. And this year, once again, it's reintroduced. Congressman Connolly and Senator Brad Schatz from Hawaii have introduced the bill requesting a 7.4% pay increase. Now, I want to throw something out there. We probably should reach out to Congressman Connolly and Senator Schatz and see if we can write a little bit out, or maybe get them to come on a podcast. And
that'd be great.
And if, by the way, and if for some reason one of us has to go on location, I will take the bullet, Katelyn. I will go to Ala Moana in Honolulu, and I will take the bullet and
I love that.
Meet Senator Schatz in person.
Very generous of you.
Yes,
very generous.
You will not.
I think it might be a two-man job, though.
It could very well be. So at any rate, getting back to the serious nature, you could say this is a good early indicator for what we might be looking at for pay raise. It's probably not going to go above it. Last year's FAIR Act suggested 8.7. Feds ultimately got 5.2. The year before, it was 5.1 and got 4.6 of it. So it really does aim to narrow the gap between federal employee pay and the private sector. And sort of our next indicator will be the White House's recommended raise within the budget, which should come out next month in March. So big hand to Congressman Connolly and Senator Schatz. As everybody knows, okay, we don't do blue, we don't do red, we only have one color, and it's called Fed. We love folks who see it the same way and are looking out for our Fed. So fingers crossed on this one, and we will be keeping our ear to the ground to report as soon as we can what the White House is proposing, and hoping for a nice big bump for everybody.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think everybody would agree with me when I say it's well worth it. Our federal servants give a lot of themselves to us, and I think that's why we stay so on top of those pay raises, because we want to make sure that you have the most up to date, accurate information on kind of what's coming down the pike. And of course, I always mention this when we talk about pay raises, if you need to get some advice on where to put that extra income, on where to put that excess, then definitely talk with us. We're happy to do a consultation. We also have our complimentary webinars that we are running all the time on how you as a Fed can sort of reinforce and plan for retirement, because, as a public servant, you have given so much of yourself, and you deserve a happy, healthy retirement. And we're here to help you build that. So
I know there are people out there in the world that do not share this opinion with us. Bless their heart, they're wrong. I handle that with Southern diplomacy.
Yeah, I think that's good. You just throw in a bless your heart, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. You can follow anything with bless your heart, and you get away with it.
You can. That's all right. Well, that's all we have for this week's episode, folks. But we'll be back next week to bring you the latest updates that you need to make informed decisions about your career and financial well-being as a Fed.
Yes, absolutely. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And also on Spotify, so you never miss an episode. And please remember to share it with your friends, colleagues, even throw a couple of enemies in there. It'll break the ice.
Extend an olive branch.
Yes, you may find a future friend by virtue of doing that.
There you go. For more information on the topics covered in today's show and more, be sure to check out our blog at blog.stwserve.com. While you're there, you can subscribe to our newsletter, The Weekly Serving, to get all the latest news for Feds delivered straight to your inbox every week.
And do not miss our weekly webinars. A couple of great ones coming up on February 28th. We will have the FEHB Medicare and TRICARE webinar that is incredibly popular. It's always our number one registrant. The guru, Ed Zerndorfer, just knocks it out of the park on that. And we have expanded those for 2024 to 4 hours so that we will be able to cover any and all questions there. So that's FEHB on 2/28. That's from 10:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. And then also don't miss our FEGLI, Federal Employee Group Life Insurance webinar. A lot of folks just don't understand how that works. Take the time. That'll be on March 7th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for listening. We are your hosts. I'm Katelyn Murray.
And I'm Dan Sipe.
And we will see you next week. I'm going to throw in a Go Bears for good measure.
Oh, yes. Now that is the Mercer Bears.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise you're gonna confuse all the people that are thinking Chicago's not in the Super Bowl.
Love it.
So it's not the Bears, it's the Bears.
The Bears. Yep. Love it.